What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. And if this is the first time you've entered into my channel, welcome. At any time, please leave a comment below because I am going to be asking a couple of questions and I just want to see what people think. So if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. It tells the YouTube gods to create this algorithm that sends, my feed to your channel, which gives you content, every time I put something up. So please do that. I would highly, highly appreciate it. But, I wanted to talk to you guys about something. I've been reading this book, The Millionaire Next Door. And as you guys know, The Richest Man in Babylon. I like talking about finance. I like talking about investment. When I'm sitting at the dinner table, these are things that excite me. Not my wife so much, but it definitely excites me because I like to learn. I like to have that cheat code. You know what I mean? I like to be able to kind of move up in life. So let's talk a little bit about some of the secrets of the more affluent. I'm not saying that I'm in the affluent category or I'm of the wealth category or I'm of the rich category, but I'll tell you what, I'm doing all right for myself. I've ventured off into, a couple of very, very successful businesses, pretty much because I put a lot of thought. I put a lot of research into whatever I do. Just a lot of times it pans out. And I'm not saying I'm successful at everything. I have failed more than I've been successful. But I don't look at it as failures. I look at it as just opportunities to learn. So that's the difference between me and a lot of people. But these are things that we're going to talk about. So again, let's hop back to some of the secrets of the affluent. Here's the deal. Money's not just going to come to you. It's just not. I was on YouTube the other day and I was watching this story that Dan Lok, L-O-K, was talking about. And he's this influencer and it really, really was inspirational. But he said that when he was a child, he was in martial arts. And every day he would, when he got home, from a good training, he would start running around the block to build that endurance. In martial arts, you need endurance. I too was in martial arts, so I definitely know the challenges and the great rewards from, just moving up or skipping a belt. I was a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo when I finally reached my peak, my goal. And but what he did is he was running one day and he saw this older gentleman, maybe upper 60s, early 70s, mowing the lawn. And you could tell that the guy was struggling a little bit. So he said, you want to know something? Hey, look, I'm out here training anyway. Let me just go up to this gentleman and see if he needs some help. Now, as we're talking, if you can think of some of the reasons as to why some things don't work, comment below. I want to know your thoughts on this. So the gentleman said, yeah, definitely. You can help me out because this lawnmower really gives me the blues. It hurts my back. It's hard to push. I'm getting a little older, so I really appreciate you helping out. So Dan took this lawnmower and mowed his lawn. And at the end, Dan wasn't expecting anything, but this was the aha moment because this gentleman gave him $20. And Dan thought to himself, man, if I can do this a few times a week, I'll be rich. Now, remember, this guy's just a little kid, but he already had this idea of becoming this entrepreneur. And this was his first encounter of reaching that status there, of just having this idea. Entrepreneurship is a status. It's a mindset. It's when you think about something in your mind and that's it. This is what I want to do. Do you take on little odd jobs here and there? Yeah, absolutely. Only if it is going to help build your success ladder towards becoming a better entrepreneur. So that's the difference. So we got this money and he came back the following week and said, hey, listen, I can mow your lawn again, but I have this idea of cutting other people's lawns around the block as well. So the old gentleman said, well, okay, well, how about this? I'll loan you my lawnmower if you cut my lawn for free. Dan said, that sounds good. Because I've been very successful with dealing with you. I'm pretty sure everybody else is going to feel the same way. So he's no longer getting paid from this gentleman because the lawnmower is being rented out. Dan took that $20 and went and got flyers and he got business cards made and he went out throughout the town and handed out flyers and business cards. Now, comment below if you already see the issue with this, because when he was telling me the story, I already knew that this was a problem. So he goes home. His mother said, hey, listen, I've got some errands to run, Dan. Why don't you run with me? And Dan said, no, I can't go anywhere because I've got to wait around this phone because I've just handed out my business card and I've got all these flyers out and I need to wait for all these people to start calling me. 1 week went by. 2 weeks went by. 3 weeks went by and Dan said, something's wrong here. Whether these people don't like me, they think I'm trying to rip them off. What's going on? So again, if you understand what's going on, comment below. So I'll tell you, Dan was chasing the money at this point. And if you're doing something that you love, you don't need to chase the money. You're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, you're going to be rewarded. So Dan one day took this lawnmower, got tired of waiting, and just went and mowed this lady's lawn. It was a beautiful house, but her lawn was pretty, her grass was long. So when he was done, he sat there and waited. And the lady came home. She drove up the driveway. She stopped. She turned around and left. She came back. She got out the car and said, "Did you cut this lawn?" He said, "Yes." She said, "Well, I didn't recognize this place because my husband travels a lot and he's the one who cuts the grass, so I didn't order this." But she was so thankful that he just did it. He got tired of waiting. He just did it. And we've talked about this before. If you've looked at my previous video, do the work. So he did the work. She reached in her pocketbook, pulled out $100 and gave it to Dan. This was another aha moment. These are some of the secrets that the affluent hold on to, that they don't just share, because these are personal success stories. And until you've reached that level, there's no point on even talking about it. So let me give you an example as to what I did when I was younger. I was young, about 6 or 7 years old, and I lived near a creek. And at this creek, there was all kinds of vegetation and reptiles, and I would collect snakes, little garden snakes, guppies and crawdads. And I took all these things, and I had these tanks, like fish tanks, and I put them in those fish tanks, and I set it up all nice and neat. And I told kids that, hey, listen, I just opened up a petting zoo. I'm probably about 7 years old. I just opened up a petting zoo, and they're excited. They want to come see it. Now, remember, I've already done the work. I went out there, and I spent my time, my effort, collecting all this to safety. I mean, the snakes do bite, and they're not poisonous, but crawdads do pinch. So I charged everybody that wanted to come see my petting zoo a quarter. Every single time they would go down the line, and if they came out of line, they went back to the back of the line. I mean, I had a line of about 12 children back there, and I charged them another quarter. So this did well for a couple of weeks, but it was my aha moment. I learned at that time that this was made for me. Entrepreneurship was designed for me to go get it. I didn't wait. Nobody told me that I had to go do something. I didn't pass out flyers. I didn't go make business cards. I just did it. And I got all the kids in the neighborhood excited about it. So let's fast forward a couple of years. Again, personal success stories that you have to have. You've got to just dive in there and go do it. Another story. So I was maybe in the 8th grade, and I decided that I was going to start selling candy. I wanted to make some money. I couldn't yet go get a regular 9-to-5 job, but I wanted to make some extra money. So I went to the grocery store. I spent about $25 on candy. Now, that's a lot of candy. And I filled my backpack up, went to school, sold everything for a quarter. By the end of the day, if I still had some inventory left, I would drop prices to 15 cents, 20 cents. I probably never did 5 cents. And then I would sell these things. And it did so well that I was able to hire 2 people. And I put them on payroll for $5 a day. And it did so well throughout my years of middle school. Now, when I got to high school, different story. Vending machines killed my drink. But I was able to do some other things, which was really, really great. But I just wanted to tell you some of the secrets of the affluent. It's just getting out there and doing it. Get out there and just mow that lawn. Get out there and create that petting zoo. The public does not know. They don't know what they want until you give it to them. So if you've got this grand idea in your head and you think that just magically the bank is going to give it to you, give you money, it's not going to happen. You've got to be able to go to the bank, put money in the bank, keep money in the bank, then ask for a line of credit, then ask for a credit card. You've got to put in the sweat equity. You've got to put in the work in order to get something back. So this being 2020, and you've got some great ideas, share it with a couple of people. Short stories, little elevator pitch. Don't make it too long. And if that sparks the interest of somebody, say, wow, that's a great idea. Go do it. Don't wait. So if you like what you heard, subscribe. This is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to read your comments, and I'm going to respond. And this is how we're going to create our dialogue. Continue to stick close to this channel, because we're going to talk about more things. I'm going to put on, more content. I'm going to try to make it as entertaining as possible. But more importantly, I want to try to teach you some of my life lessons. If you feel like you're too old and you can't do these things, but you have children, start there. Start there. Share your wealth. Wealth just doesn't have to be money. Wealth is knowledge. Share your knowledge with your children, or with your children's children, but get them started. Entrepreneurship could just be a step away if they know that it's there. You have to create that success. You've got to plant that seed. I try to plant seeds all day long, little nuggets of ideas and nuggets of information, and how's it going to grow from there? Putting a little bit of money in Wealthfront. How much interest am I going to make? Put a little bit of money into, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Micron, a lot of tech stocks. And by no means am I an advisor, but I like to plant my seeds, and I like to see where things are going to take me, real estate investment. So if you've got your own success story, please share it, because, knowledge is wealth. And if you can see it in your mind, you can grab it with your hands.